Hey yo, it's me. It's not DDP. It's the RVE here recording the latest episode of the Heelcast. And before I introduce this embarrassing group of a dais I've got with me, I just want to take the time out to say that this is by far the absolute worst podcast that I have ever been to. Now, for me to get into my introductions here, honestly, let's just be real. We've got this. Basically, this is like a couples retreat or a couples date night or something. I've got my wife or spouse or husband, and we just play pitch and catch. Of the Heelcast, I've got the AEW Dude back with me here for week 2 out of 3 since I've been back. AEW Dude, what's going on, buddy?
I'm just letting everybody know I pitch, I do not catch. I'm just saying, go throw that one out there. So RVE, I got a question for you, man. Starting to show off. You are the RVE. Could you explain what RVE is all about? Where you get those acronyms from?
So basically, I mean, it started at Raven Effect, but then I'm like, I'm broke. He could possibly sue. So I went with that, and then I went to RAV because Mickey Avalon always called himself the AVE, and then I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. If I'm going to rip off 2 people, I may as well do it the right way. So I just went for RVE for Raven Effect.
So it's not Raven versus everything? It's just not an OVE reference?
Son of a bitch.
Oh, yeah, dude, this all started with OVE, man. Don't be giving me that stuff. We know you are down with the OVE.
You know what? I'm not down with the CVE, though. That's the thing. I'll be down with the DVS or the CVS if I need to go to the drugstore. But
your drugstore's on the corner, buddy. I'm just saying.
You know what?
Just our other power couple for the evening, man. Let's get the other power couple in here, man.
That's true. We've got a couple
Introduce
of bottoms.
Introduce the pitcher first, all right? Pitchers first, catchers last. I'm just saying.
All right. Well, shit. How do I go with this? I mean, goddamn, fuck it. You know what? I got Fap and Hurls, so he doesn't get mad at me. I'll go with Hurls first.
Yeah, that's right. Mr. Impact Wrestling, the Impact section of the Heelcast. Mr. Impact, Hurls is here to level the playing field.
All right, we got Mr. Impact Wrestling, and much like the other Mr. Impact Wrestling, he's grossly misused and pushed to the side to put over a woman. But this is not a woman he's putting over. This is actually the man of the relationship. Representing Heel Team 6, I've got the infamous Chef with me. Chefrey, what's going on, buddy?
I'm chilling, my brother. This is absolutely ridiculous right now. I mean, if people don't throw the thumbs up on this, just on the immediate intro, then I don't know what they want to hear, because this is absurd.
I told you at the start, this is literally the worst podcast I've ever been on.
I mean, that's what our goal is, right?
You know, we haven't been having the dick jokes as much.
We're not winning any Emmys here, right? This isn't happening. We're not getting any awards, right?
No. We might get an award for the biggest fan base lost that has not returned yet. That's partially our fault. Partially our fault. Partially Impact for pissing away so many viewers. Now we got to start from scratch. We cover NW and AEW now too, motherfuckers. So we got a big show, not as big as the last couple weeks, but you know, you guys ready to hop in and do this?
I hop.
I'll just take that as a yes from the rest of you, because old Russian Hitler just chopped in with whatever the fuck.
I do not know how you follow Hurls when he says I hop. I don't know how you follow that.
You
don't follow that. You just roll your eyes, hope it goes away, man.
He said I hop, and my brain went blank, and I was like, I don't know what to say after that.
It sounded like Hurls is recording from Nazi Germany with it. I hop. It sounded like Mike Thompson. All right, guys. Well, you know, this is a big, terrible Heelcast family, so don't forget to check the rest of us out. Check out Kyle at the Total Nonstop Impact Podcast, on the Impact Lounge with my buddy BQ. as I say, the best in the business. Larkin at the S&M Podcast, the LFC Podcast, your mother's podcast. Literally, like Larkin does that many podcasts. He would probably do your mom's show. If your mom is over 400 pounds, he would do her. But check out Larkin.
He probably already has.
My fault.
Somewhere Kyle just spilled his bowl. Check out, you know what? Our boy FK9 doesn't do wrestling anymore, but that dude's like a superstar now. He's got like 10, 20,000 followers or some shit. So check out FK9, who we need to get back on here. He's got 99 problems and killing fools is every one of them. And of course, you know what? Our buddy Andre Corbeil, be sure to check him out at WrestlingW3 on Twitter and all the stuff that Andre's got. And hopefully we'll talk with Andre and get our show put up on his channel sometime soon as well. So check that out. Did I forget anyone? I'm going to take that as a no as well.
I hop.
All right, so I'm gonna hop into the news, and as goofy and crazy as this shit is going so far, I do want to take some time out on something else and actually be serious for a minute. Now, look, this is a pro wrestling podcast, but the four of us are sports fans, and we respect all sports, real sports. Man, this I'll never forget this past Sunday. You know, one of those moments like 9/11. You know exactly where you were. The passing of Kobe Bryant and his helicopter crash. His 13-year-old daughter Gianna was killed as well as what was it, 7 other passengers, and just a tragic moment. I mean, Kobe Bryant honestly was an idol to me in my teenage years, my young adult years, and even into adulthood. I loved this man to death. I've never grieved over someone I've never met, but I grieved on that. And it was just unbelievably sad, and I can't even put into words how much Kobe Bryant meant to me. And this what I'm trying to do for my life, guys, is this Mamba mentality that he pushes. You know, to work harder than you actually know you can work. I mean, to give 110% to find that extra mile. You know, this was a guy that, you know, he had some rough times in his younger years in the league. We all know the Colorado bullshit that was not actually true. You know, but in the falling out with Shaq, and he wasn't that likable at first for a lot of people. This is a guy who really redeemed himself and came back, you know, was this leader, won championships. But as we grew on, you know, he became like, he dedicated his life to being a father and just a family man. And really the world lost a great person. You know, shit, there was video that came out of him. There was an accident in LA like a couple weeks before he passed, you know, with like a really, really bad accident. And there was Kobe Bryant out there comforting the victims. He's moving traffic along, directing traffic, and it's unbelievably sad tragedy. And I'm heartbroken. I just want to pay my respects to the guy who, in my opinion, will always be the GOAT to me, the Black Mamba. I don't know if any of you guys have anything you want to chime in, but I can't do this show without letting that out there.
I mean, you know, my thoughts and prayers go out to the whole family. It's a tragedy. He was too young to go. He had more left to do on this planet, and quite frankly, as the father of a 12-year-old, hearing that the 13-year-old dying is just crushing. You know, again, you know, just thoughts and prayers go out to the family, his wife, everybody involved. It's really sad.
Yeah, I'm still a little sensitive about the shit, so rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, it was shocking once I heard it on the radio. I was actually driving to watch the Royal Rumble, and I heard it on the radio. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, no, the guy was definitely an all-time NBA great. He worked out with Giannis over the last 2 summers. And I think, and half of the reason I think Giannis is so good is because he was pushed by Kobe Bryant to be the best he can be. So definitely, you know, respect there. Not a Lakers fan, but, you know, that's not the point. So just very tragic.
And of course, you know, wish all the best to the man's wife. You know, she's been with Kobe Bryant since she was 17 years old. She lost not only her husband, but also her daughter as well. Gianna was 13 years old. Kobe had a 17-year-old, his 13-year-old who passed with him. And he's got a 3-year-old and a 7-month-old child. I mean, it's awful. And I can never express the words of how much this man meant to me. And it's literally, I'm still grieving. I mean, my Niners are in the Super Bowl. It should be the only thing I'm thinking about, but I'm consumed just with the heartbreak. So I know this is a wrestling show, but I want to thank you guys for allowing me to do this on the air. All right, we ready to jump into some actual wrestling news, fellas?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
All right, so we can get back to being the jack-offs that we actually are. This Sunday at the Royal Rumble, surprisingly, it was won by the former Drew Galloway, a.k.a. Drew McIntyre, now in the WWE. I guess I'll congratulate him there. You know, the guy was jobbed out in WWE, and we all said we didn't understand why. He really came to Impact, and even when Impact made him champion, he really, at first I was very skeptical on it, but I feel he really redeemed himself and reinvented himself, so props to that. But the main reason I bring this up is that this pertains to is we had the return of actually one of my all-time favorites, the Rated R superstar Edge, returned to the Royal Rumble. Looked a little bit gray in the beard, but he didn't look like he missed a step too much. Now, unfortunately, Edge did return to the WWE, but news broke that he was actually in talks with All Elite Wrestling. This could have been a game changer for AEW as someone that could come in and you know, try and take that bigger step from competing with NXT to start to jump towards Raw or SmackDown. Edge took the better offer for more money with the WWE. AEW really missed out. And if I were that, I understand he would have been a part-time guy, but this is one of the guys that you go hard for. You haven't seen Edge in the ring a lot. There's a lot of fresh stuff to do with the guy. Very unfortunate that AEW missed out on him, but I'll go to Hurls. Your thoughts on Edge who's signing with WWE over AEW?
I think at this stage of his career, when he's got, a few years left, I think it probably made the most sense to go back to WWE where he's got the legacy. It definitely would have been big. He could have pulled a Jericho, but I think I think for him personally, it makes the most sense just to go back to WWE. And I'm sure, though, if AEW could have landed him, that would have been another big star they would have had to been able to put out there. So, yeah, it is kind of a miss for AEW, but, I think they'll be all right. And I think it probably makes the most sense. I don't know how WWE will use him at this point, but, I think just in terms of everything, it probably made the most sense for him to go back.
Now, AEW, dude, I know you haven't watched WWE in much longer than any of us. Are you familiar with Edge?
I think everybody's familiar with Edge. Obviously didn't watch a lot of his stuff, but, Raven, in fact, how old do you think Edge is?
I'd say probably early 40s would be my guess.
He's 46. So don't get me wrong, Jericho's 49. Okay, he's getting ready to turn 50, but Jericho was part-time for a lot of years too. He didn't put the wear and tear on his body. So I don't see this as a game changer just due to the age. He's not John Moxley. He's not going to come in and tear things apart. He's a guy that could put some butts in some seats for some nostalgia reasons. I don't want to take away from that. I don't want to say he's useless because they didn't get him or anything like that. He would have been a good hand for them, but do you want to take the time to build this guy when you could be building some of the younger guys? A guy like Luchasaurus is a guy that really needs a good big push, right? They got Jake Hager that they're going to need to do something with. They've got Pentagon, they got Phoenix, and I guess they just decided they're not doing shit with because all they do is lose. But you get my point, right? So I think it would have been nice to have him, but I don't know that they missed out. And my guess is that's why WWE was able to beat the offer, because they looked at it and they said, well, he's going to be a nice guy to have, but if we have too many people like him, they're going to say you're just taking all the old people from WWE, kind of like what WCW did, only WCW had them all in their prime, and kind of like TNA did, yes, TNA, because it was TNA at the time, and after their prime. So nice to have, sure. Big miss, probably not.
Well, I will say real fast, you mentioned the wear and tear or whatever, but this is a guy that's been on the sideline for, 7 years or so, maybe even longer than that. I think it was 2012 that he's been out. Hasn't been taking the pounding. and you say he's no John Moxley, man. I'm going to be honest, like, from what I've seen of Moxley, as much as I love him, I mean, Edge back in his heyday has got to step on him. I mean, Edge was special to me. And you know, obviously that was a time when WWE didn't script every word that everyone said. But then again, it wouldn't have been full time. And I mean, anyone that's saying, you know, they're going to take a bunch of old WWE guys doesn't know what they're fucking talking about in a lot of ways, because you need these people too for asses in seats, for star power, to put people over and whatnot. But I'm going to go to my man Chef on the Edge talk.
You know what? I'm going to jump right on board with my man AEW Dude, because I disagree that Edge would be worth it anyway. Yes, he's been gone for 7 years, but he was gone 7 years with a massive neck injury. So it's not like he just, you know what I mean? It's not like he was just not sitting around. This dude could not compete. You know what I mean? Like, and then at this point with AEW, do you really want a part-timer like that you're going to be throwing that kind of bread at? So I don't think it's a big drop-off. And you know what? God bless him, because at his age and his injury, if he's going to part-time and WWE threw the bag at him, let him go there. You know, AEW, they need, you know, people that are going to be there and help the promotion grow further. Just putting a few asses in the seats because of nostalgia thing, to me, doesn't make sense.
True. I mean, let's look at the bright side, though. I mean, he returns to WWE after all these years. WWE's got all this time. They can make all these fresh matchups and dream matchups with Edge, like putting him back against Randy Orton, where he just kind of left off right at the end of his career. Just so stupid. Gotta hate that fucking company. Like, of all people, and I used to love Randy. We've already seen the rated RKO split up in the feud and shit, and it's like that's immediately what they go back to. It's just bad creative. WWE sucks. Anyone want to chime in before we move on to the next story about WWE sucking with creative even more?
They just suck.
Now, so we'll go on to the next guy, which we've covered this kind of a little bit on the past two shows, and I know the AEW Dude and I got into it on this last week, but Chef's boy has got the whole free the delete thing going on Twitter. So Matt Hardy set out the Royal Rumble, got squashed. He's a few weeks away from hitting free agency. I think Hurls, didn't you talk about him on your Impact show about the Matt Hardy free agency last week as well?
Yeah, I did.
So, I mean, we've all kind of covered it, and we even kind of had the talk the other day. But I mean, Matt Hardy is going to come free. I guess a matter of where we want to predict where we're going to see him go. I'll go to the AEW Dude because I think he has a different take than the rest of us. So I'll start with him, and then we'll go to Chef Hurls, and then I'll kind of cap it off.
Yeah, we kind of covered this. I don't know where he really fits. I just don't see the broken universe fitting in any particular company in 2020. Impact's quality of production that they're putting out doesn't match what you need to do to put out the broken universe. They're not spending as much money on production as they did back in those days. And actually, to be fair, Matt Hardy would probably say he spent the money on production anyway. So I don't see it working, and I don't see him working in their style matches anymore. They're a very fast-paced. They're a smaller wrestler in the company. I want to say a smaller company. They're that too, but the wrestlers are smaller. I don't see him really, like, fitting. I don't see him taking a job to Tessa Blanchard. Sorry, Hurls. I know you'd love to see that. I don't see that happening. So I don't see him fitting in there. AEW, again, it's a young company trying to get itself going. They're not built to do this kind of a weird universe thing. They don't need that as part of their identity. They have better production. They have the Dark Order already. They've already got a little bit of some of this stuff, but not to the extent of the broken universe. WWE already fucked it all up. That's why we're having this conversation. And MLW is in much the same boat as what, Impact is. So I'm not really sure where he goes with it. I think he'll go somewhere. I don't think he fits in AEW as a singles competitor. I think maybe if his brother were coming along with him, I think that the Bucks would probably be like, hey, we want you guys as a tag team, but they're not going to want the whole broken universe. I think it was neat during its time, but I don't think it fits in 2020. And this is coming from a guy that actually enjoyed watching that stuff.
Well, we'll go to Chef, who we know did not enjoy watching that stuff.
Yeah, I definitely didn't enjoy the broken garbage from Jump Street. You know what I mean? I don't like this dude. Listen, at this point, I think his only viable thing would be ROH because they need somebody Like you said, he doesn't fit in Impact. He doesn't fit in MLW. Any promotion he's on, I definitely will not watch. I just think he's corny. Like, he was always the other brother. It finally took something of the magnitude of the broken bullshit to get him over. And he got over. Impact did his thing, and he looked great on it. WWE flopped, shocked. We all covered this and said that. Now what do? Do you try to bring this bullshit back after you were almost a 50-year-old Hardy Boy in WWE? Like, come on, man. Like, you got the Cruella DeVille joint going on like it's like the poppin' thing to have. Man, personally, if I don't ever see this guy on TV again, it would be a blessing for me.
My take is that when he left Impact, it was Ed Nordholm followed by the direction of Jeff Jarrett. And from what everything was said, Jeff Jarrett was sending him drunken texts and blah, 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 and all that stuff. They had some sort of contract dispute, went to Ring of Honor. Impact shut that down. But if you look at how Impact does business, it's totally opposite, and it's not under Jeff Jarrett's guidance anymore. I don't want to see Rebby anymore. I definitely don't want to see Rebby, but I still think I'd like to see Matt Hardy revive the broken universe.
Can I cut Hurls? Yeah, can I cut you off?
Go ahead.
Okay, my one super beef with him going back to Impact is they made bread off of that fuck the owl shit. Like, they tried to shit on Impact to the point of shutting them down. Him and his wife had a field day taking shots at them. Why should you allow somebody to come back into your organization that tried to bury you? Like, that's my issue as not a fan, as a human being. And a business standpoint, if you're a bitter former employee and you try to crush my money, I can't bring you back because you was fucking with my money.
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally get where you're coming from, but I think the thing that needs to be looked at is who was the driving force behind the bad relationship. It's two people, really. I mean, it's Rebby and Jeff Jarrett. I mean, Jeff Jarrett set the precedent on how they wanted to conduct business with Hardy. I think now, I mean, hear me out here. I don't think the broken universe is going to be as over as it was, because you can't duplicate that. That kind of just caught lightning in a bottle. But I do think, though, that he should get I don't want to say send off, but another chance to relive it and see what happens. And
so
I get
wait a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
You're saying you start a fuck that out campaign, right? And then a couple years later, it's like, tell you what, man, come on back. We're going to give you a send off.
Well, I think that they made amends, obviously.
They did, I believe.
Well, yeah. So stop. So they publicly took a picture to make it look like everybody was all good. Okay, and that was a smart move on both their parts to look classy. But you can't tell me that Ed Nordholm isn't going to sit there and bring Matt Hardy back in and go, "This is cool. We will never have another fuck that Al incident." They are not capable of doing that again. It won't happen. I know it. I'm sure of it. I mean, come on, man. If you work for me and you bring that guy back in, and I got to go with Chef on this one, you're going to get fired because it's going to start another fuck that Al campaign as soon as things don't go well. He did it once.
And we also lost Awesome Kong to that shit too.
Yeah, that's true. Which you can now check on AEW, or I don't know if she's on that much, but you can check her out there. But to be honest, though, if you've seen how D'Amore and Callis have been on Twitter, that to me tells me that they are interested in bringing him back.
I mean, they can say and do whatever they want, but at the end of the day, if you're Ed Nordholm and you went through all this hell, I mean, just imagine trying to explain to Leonard Asper, okay, why there's a fuck that Al campaign going on about you, okay? Think about how hard that must have been to explain how we wound up with a fuck that Al Twitter campaign against us and shirts that were selling them on freaking Pro Wrestling Tees and every goddamn thing, okay? And now you're going to come back to him a couple years later and go, don't worry, Leonard, I got this. We're bringing him back. I'm like, get the fuck out of my company. Like, I'm sorry, you're an idiot.
Hurls, you know how I think I can explain this one real well to you? Okay, you're a huge Giannis fan. If Giannis was to get fucking, like, just say right before the deadline, he's like, I want out. You have to trade me. I'm not going to play. And they, the situation happened and he comes out with a fuck the Bucks shirt. How would you feel if Giannis came out with a fuck the Bucks shirt?
Well, okay, I get what you're saying. Giannis would never do it, obviously, but
I'm just trying to use something.
No,
like,
I get it. You're saying it's an analogy, right? No, I totally get it. Yeah, no, I wouldn't like it at all, especially because he's my favorite player. But I mean, I think, it was ugly. Don't get me wrong, it was ugly, and I think the driving force was Rebby Hardy. Okay, but at the same time, maybe cooler heads prevailed in this situation.
As they should. That doesn't mean you bring him back. I'm all for cooler heads prevailing, but that doesn't mean I'm dumb enough to bring you back into my company. That's the difference, Hurls.
The wife also tried to put a lawsuit, like, child endangerment or something. What the fuck? Maxwell, some shit like that, where she's in the middle of the fucking ring. This guy is posting some of the craziest shit I can see.
Saggy titties to 3 titties to...
She's in the ring with freaking stilettos on, with a kid strapped to her. How safe is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's a lot of issues that she did and he did, and it was such an ugly divorce that I think if you're Ed Nordholm, who I like to take shots on, and we all joke and whatever, but to be honest with you, I think he has to show face and be like, look, my G, we don't want you here.
Well, I get that, but I think the whole company now is driven with D'Amore and Callis. With Nordholm, he doesn't have that much of a say, I don't think. I think he's trusts
the freaking president, and he's on the board of directors for Anthem. He has the final say.
He's like the reason Jordan's there and Eli's not.
He's like
he's
like an owner where he's given Callis and D'Amore like GM. Like, here, I'm not going to meddle anymore. You guys take the keys. That's kind of how I view Ed Nordholm. But I'm just saying, don't be shocked if Matt Hardy comes back to Impact. I don't know though. He's saying a lot of nice things about Impact, but that could also mean like, hey, you guys are doing a good job, but I'm going somewhere else.
So let's just say something. I would not be shocked if he came back to Impact. I mean, this is a company with Tessa Blanchard as world champion. Why the fuck wouldn't they bring him back, dude? I'm simply saying it's a stupid ass move, and if you work for me and you do that after what happened, you're fired. All I would say is, you know what, dude? I can't, we don't have anything for you creatively. Let's talk again in 6 months. And then in 6 months, they'll be doing something else and we're done. I wouldn't ball up to him because they'll start fuck that Al again. And that's what I'm trying to freaking avoid. But I mean, it's just nuts to think that, I mean, how stupid do you have to be?
Well, we're in the pro wrestling business and Jeff Jarrett's working for WWE again, which is absolutely crazy. So anything can happen if you ask me.
Good God, did I just stir the shit pot with that topic of conversation? But, it's good dialogue as well. Fucking A. So I'm just going to give my 2 cents here. I'm going to wrap it up and go into the next topic here in a second. But, I mean, to chime in on what you guys said, I mean, yeah, it did, like, and you said it's between Jarrett and Rebby and all that, but Ed Nordholm and Matt Hardy both had their involvement in it, too. It does appear that the beef was squashed a while back between Ed Nordholm and Matt Hardy, so there's that. And you're saying, would Impact want him back? Honestly, I think Impact will literally take whoever they can get at this point. That's not really that big of a knock. It's just kind of, honestly, you guys are right, too. If they were to come back, with Rebby being such a piece of trash, loose cannon human being, there is no guarantee that she won't stir up the pot. With WWE, she's muzzled down quite a bit, so I could see a fuck the L thing happening if she didn't think she was getting what she wanted there. And I think really the biggest asset is the potential to bring Jeff Hardy in with him at some point. That said, from the stuff I've seen on Twitter, it actually seems like those two, Matt and Jeff, are kind of at odds and a little bit, what's the word, separated from each other at the moment too, because it seems like they're trying to get Jeff to get help for his issues, but he's not wanting to do it and upset. Of course, they publicly called it out, which is bullshit and not the way to do it, but it's what you get from the classy Hardy clan. Now we're actually seeing some good stuff come through the chat. The other thing I want to say too, I could see him going to Impact.
You guys noticed he found the chat when he needed to find a chat, right? He said he wouldn't have the chat available. This fucker found the chat. I'm just
they keep
saying.
flopping across my screen.
That's not what's
I don't know how to put this thing on
my friend.
All I'm gonna say is Gail Kim will always be one of my favorites,
especially right now. I'm just saying.
But I could see him going to Impact. I could see him going to AEW. The thing with if he goes to AEW, they need to give him the freedom to do the gimmick the way that he wants to, but they can't give him the keys the way that he was, where he dominates the whole show and everything is in that broken shit. I know Old School Heel and Chef have both said, if he comes to AEW, they're going to stop watching because they hate the character that much. I'm just saying, if they were to do that, monitor it a little bit, because you can't let it get out of hand like it was with Impact. But the other thing I'm going to bring up too, and this is the other place I could see him go, and now the AEW dude the other day told me him going to NWA is as stupid as having Tessa as world champ. But I'm going to say this right now.
I think I said almost as stupid. I'm not sure it is quite as stupid, but it's close. It's close.
Look, it wasn't when the Broken Universe was running the entire show. There were two guys in charge of Impact at the time. They are not the two in charge now. It was Dave Lagana and Billy Corgan, who basically gave Matt Hardy the keys. Go do whatever it is you want to do. You look at the style of wrestling the NWA does. You don't have to go out there and put on these really, really great matches. They're not doing it. The matches are shorter. They're more hard-hitting and not over the top. And on top of it, you said it's a throwback. It's old school. It doesn't fit. Look at the Austin Idol commercials. Look at this hypnosis lady with the 100 VHS tapes for $9.99 and the weird shit that they put on the screen on NWA. And look at Billy Corgan's old version of wrestling too. It's zany and it's out there. And these guys have given him the keys before. Who's to say they're not going to do it again? And they're more, NWA is more into the talkers and stuff. They had literally 2 matches on this last show. They're more into the talking and that aspect of wrestling, making it a TV show as opposed to the actual in-ring product. So
but you really think that is throwback wrestling, though? Like, they're doing everything that they're doing in the NWA is throwback. And you seriously think that it makes sense to take the Broken Universe and say, we got this. This is 1980s studio wrestling. I mean, come on, man. That's why I said it's almost as dumb as Tessa Blanchard.
Look at what Lagana and Corgan let Matt Hardy do the last time. So, yeah, if I'm Matt Hardy, I'm listening to what they have to say. Because look what they allowed me to do the last time I worked for them.
They no way they're going to allow it again. Corgan's got a vision, an actual vision.
And if you remember, too, when the Hardys left Impact, they said if it would have been Billy Corgan that was in control, they would have never left. You remember that?
Yes, but Billy Corgan was running a different company back then. He wasn't running a throwback show.
Wait, Billy Corgan and Impact aren't the same thing? I never knew. Of course I know this.
Right, that's the point. And Billy Corgan has spent the last couple of years defining the identity and rolling with that identity specifically for NWA. He's not going to violate that because Matt Hardy's a free agent and might be there for a minute. It would kill his show. That's not what his people want to see. And that's why I said it was almost as dumb as Tessa Blanchard for World Champs. Sorry, Hurls. That's the dumbest idea ever.
Just wait till Jordan Grace becomes world champ. Then we'll talk differently. And look, I'm not saying I disagree with you, but what I'm saying is I absolutely see it as an option, and I think they're a wild card that's being overlooked. Do I think it'd be a great move? No. To give him the power that he had the last time around? No, absolutely not. No company should do that. But if I could see anyone doing it to him, it'd be them.
That's a great move, though. You got to admit, that last one.
It was.
And I just want to say too. I just want to say too, like I don't think Matt Hardy. Yeah, he doesn't really mesh with a lot of the wrestlers that Impact has, but they're also still doing a lot of storylines like the Su Yung Havoc type
Rosemary.
Stuff. Yeah, Rosemary. So it's not like totally out of the way for Impact to do something like that.
All right. So, look, we just spent basically our time that I wanted to spend on 3 different shows and one all on Matt Hardy. So, I'm going to pull the plug and move forward on this one. But I feel we got a good Matt Hardy debate. There's some Bush. So, going to move on to the other pending free agent that's out there. and that's a guy with the WWE, Rusev. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce it. Now, he's talked about how he is going to be a free agent soon, too. Look, my buddy Old School Hills told me that he's done this shit before in the past. It's just a way to get WWE to fight and give leverage, and he literally told me he didn't want to talk that conversation when he does make his return to the Heelcast because it's going to make the Heelcast look like full. Joke's on him. We already are making asses of ourselves. But, look, I've never seen this Rusev guy wrestle at all. From what I hear, he's freakishly strong. Surprise, surprise, a very underused talent that the WWE doesn't know what to do with. He's married to some girl with the company, and they're running an angle right now where he's feuding against her as she left him for Bobby Lashley. And from what I've been told, it's just like the worst fucking thing on TV. I've even seen actual wrestlers have came out on Twitter and actually spoke out about how terrible this storyline and gimmick is, including Corey Graves. And I mean, that's some balls to do against WWE. So I don't know anything about this guy. I mean, he's a name. I know he's kind of underused. So I'm just going to say I hope he ends up with AEW. Hurls, you've probably seen this guy the most. What's your take on him?
Oh, he's really talented. I think they had it right when he was kind of doing the Iron Sheik style gimmick with the Bulgarian brute. Lana was the ravishing Russian, and she would be the mouthpiece for him, and that was really good. Obviously, they built him up pretty big, but then of course he fizzles out, and then they basically turn him into a joke, a comedy wrestler. But no, I think he's a really good wrestler. I think he's a good power wrestler. He would fit pretty much anywhere he goes. I could see any company wanting him, and he could fit with any style you want to do because he's very versatile. He could do the serious heel. He can do the funny face. He can do whatever you really want. I mean, he's not a flippy wrestler. He's a big wrestler, does a lot of power moves. So, yeah, he's definitely going to be coveted. Where he'll end up, I think AEW would have the edge there, but you never know.
He could also easily just re-sign with WWE, especially if his wife is going to be there. Chef, I assume you probably know more about this guy than the AEW dude, so I'll let you go next if you have anything.
Yeah, I think he's a bird. I think he's in the ring. His wife is super fucking hot, and he's done this before. So all he's doing is building up his leverage to get another contract and bigger contract. Whoopie fucking do. God, that's a great picture. But that was nice. But you know what? I'm not even going to talk because I just lost train of thought where I was going. So on to you, AEW dude.
It's definitely a vintage Heelcast tonight.
I don't know a damn thing about the guy, and quite frankly, I am busy running the chat window. So, yeah, whatever. If he's good, bring him on. If he's not, don't bring him on. You can see the after and then the before pics, right? I'm just saying.
Hurls, let me ask you this, because I know you. Hurls, I know you've seen it. How bad is this angle that he's in with Lashley and his wife and some other girl?
It's absolutely horrible. There's reasons why I think they book this. Rusev has said a lot of things on Twitter to basically put himself in the doghouse with WWE, and I think this is kind of what that's coming to. I mean, now I know we all don't in this podcast don't like Vince Russo, but he basically said WWE will pull ribs on you if you piss him off. He's come out and said that plenty of times. That's how WWE works. Too. Yeah, I mean, it's nothing nobody really not anyone. Everyone knows this, obviously, but yeah, that's what they're doing to him, basically, from all the stuff he's said about Twitter, about WWE. But yeah, it's awful. It's awful. It's not getting anybody over, and it's made all three of them just look like absolute fools.
Earls, I got two other questions for you here. So, one, I mean, do you think this is a leverage pull just to get WWE to pay him more and use him better, or do you think he's actually serious this time around?
You know, it's tough to say because there's guys like Dolph Ziggler who, you know, they've been put through this before and they keep re-signing. But then there's guys like Jon Moxley who are just like, I've had enough and I'm going to leave. And there's guys like Pac, same thing. So is he going to be a Dolph Ziggler and just be forever known as a mid-card joke? Or is he actually going to go out and prove that he can be a top wrestler in the world? That's kind of what this is going to come down to. But yeah, it could be a leverage. It could be because, you know, the WWE money, it's enough for people's dignity to be lost forever. So,
ain't that right, Mike Bennett? Canellis. So the other question I have for you, Hurls, because I don't know if you checked our show last week. I think you did, since you heard all my recruiting plays and all. But I did put you over for being accurate about Sean Spears. Now, you told us Sean Spears really does suck, and there's nothing special to him. And right now we're in agreement with you. Now, is it the same with Rusev, or is he better than how he's being used?
No, Rusev's better because he has personality. He's got a character to him. I think he can make. I mean, look, he's got some angles over in WWE that were never supposed to be over. He had that Rusev Day gimmick, and that was just supposed to be another rib, and he got it over. So I think if you can do that, you're talented. I think Rusev does have talent.
You're saying that his super hot wife in those little ass dresses with her huge tits were what got him over when she was his mouthpiece and he just stood there like a brute?
No, I think that definitely helped, but he got that Rusev Day over by himself. I think he did with him and.
Bro, listen. The WWE fan base are a bunch of marks. Like every promotion does, but. How the fuck can New Day be so fucking over? And I think the only one is good is Kofi, which I don't even know if he goes by a different name now. But, you got regular dudes with fucking dildos on their foreheads going into arenas. Like, that shit is fucking crazy to me. That's the kind of fan base they have. So just because people go ape shit for it there, don't mean it's going to work somewhere else.
Well, that's true. But I think that we don't know how much he can do without the WWE, but from seeing that gimmick and seeing, you're right, the WWE fans eat it up, but keep in mind, WWE fans make the majority of wrestling fans for the most part. I hate to say that, but they do. So I think if he went to AEW, oh god damn, if he went to AEW and he'd get himself over, I have no doubt.
Boys, let's keep our eyes on the prize, not the buttholes that the AEW dude keeps throwing down in this chat, all right? So,
sorry, folks. I got to take a pause. Just too many pictures to fap to.
Yeah, we're...
especially that last one, huh?
We're a couple of dick jokes away from being full-blown vintage Heelcast tonight. So, now we'll hop into someone that we actually are aware of. Now, Hurls, you were actually telling us how you wanted to see Mr. Anderson get swooped up by Impact and leave the NWA. Now, Billy Corgan has basically said he's open to working with anyone except for Impact. Now, Impact is doing the TNA reunion show. We got ROH doing a reunion show. The Heelcast even tried to do one, but our founder of the old school heel couldn't do the show with us that last week, which we were hoping for. So, but they signed Mr. Anderson and D'Lo Brown to come back in the Aces and Eights gimmick, which why they chose that one, I'm confused, but I'll roll with it. The funny thing about this is it gets announced the night of, I think it was Friday morning or something. I mean, the Hard Times pay-per-view was Friday night, and it gets announced Anderson showing up at this TNA show. And all of a sudden, Mr. Anderson is not medically cleared to compete. Now, I'm not going to speculate, and it almost seems like Billy set an example and pulled the plug and released Anderson from his NWA duties. Now, this is pure speculation, but I'll go to the AEW dude and your thoughts on this situation here.
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, they said that they would not work with Impact, right? And Anderson shows up and he's not scheduled for anything else. I think that Anderson was just brought in as kind of like an enhancement type talent. He's a great talker. He kind of fits the mold of what they want. But I'll say this, Ken Anderson looks like he's a little bit out of shape. And so, he's always been one of those types of guys that you worry about and what might be going on backstage, right? I mean, it's kind of his reputation is, getting a little drunk and having some substance issues. So who knows what happened there, right? But it would seem like Anderson is out of NWA, but I don't see him coming back to Impact full time. I see this as a one-off. He doesn't fit their roster. He doesn't fit what they're trying to do at all. And I don't think he makes a good road agent either. I mean, to be honest with you, I think he probably shouldn't be on the road at all. So I wish him nothing but the best. He is one of my favorite Impact guys. But I don't know. I think he'll probably go back to training. Probably train Becky Lynch.
I've never been a fan of Mr. Anderson, Ken Anderson, whatever you want to call his name. Never liked him.
Asshole. He's an asshole. You should love him.
He's an asshole. That's what it is. You know what I mean? He's an asshole. But yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, like when he came with NWA, I was like, sure, whatever. I don't care if he's here or not here, if he wrestles or not wrestles. I'm just not a fan of this guy. So if he does go back to Impact, that's great for me because I don't watch Impact. So that's their shit. They can have that guy, and hopefully NWA loses some of this super old guy stuff and try to shoot for younger talent. So yeah, no, I don't care. I hope Billy Corgan put the boots to his ass like Peace God.
I think that with Impact, if they were able to get Mr. Anderson to be, like a 1-2 year deal, I got no problem with it because Impact does need more guys that can talk on the mic. And I feel like if they lose Brian Cage, they're going to need another guy that has some name value. They're going to need some more guys that can go out there and get a crowd to pop and whatnot. So I think getting a guy like Mr. Anderson, I believe he's 43. He doesn't look in the greatest shape that he once was. And you are absolutely correct with the substance issues. That's the reason why he, got released from Impact in the first place. So that is a little bit of a concern. But if he's not on the road too much and he's able to keep his, focus, I say why not bring him in? Guy was one of my absolute favorites. Him and Kurt Angle, that feud they had was just absolutely awesome. That steel cage match they had, it was great. So I'm all about bringing Mr. Anderson back. I've always liked the guy. I loved it when he got released from WWE because I knew WWE dropped the ball with him. He's absolutely one of the best guys on the mic, or at least was at one point. So I don't really have a problem with him coming in.
Who does he feud with, though? I mean, like, you want everybody to come into Impact, but don't they have to fit the mold? I mean, who's feuding over the world title right now? Last time I checked, it was Tessa Blanchard versus Ace Austin. Who's he working with? Is he working with RVD? Because that's not going to work. You can't put the old guys together. Is he going to? Is he going to? He's just job out. Not athletic enough.
He's going to job out Moose and then lose to Jordan, whatever her last name is.
Disgrace.
There you go.
I mean, it does seem like they put every old timer that comes back with Moose. So that would probably be my first guess.
I'd pair him up with somebody and put him in the tag team division. That's what I would do.
Have you watched NWA and see how slow he looks? Who are you? Listen, that's the one thing that I know that Impact has is some of these young guys who are flipping all over the place, doing all this crazy. Yo, dude, how are you gonna have him against like fucking the Rascals?
Exactly, the Rascals.
Or OVE or any of these guys who can move around. They're gonna have to slow their pace for him. That shit makes no sense.
He then hurts their match. He hurts it. Look, Hurls, we're not hating on Impact here. We're actually trying to help them by saying this guy is not a fit. They are a young, up-and-coming roster, and that is what their identity is going to be moving forward. They can't have a bunch of old guys because they're just not fast enough. And honestly, Anderson's too big for them. They're a small roster. That's what they are. That's what they decided to be.
Well, no, I mean, I totally get that. That's why I put him in a tag team. I would put him with a guy who's a little quicker that can, go with some of the younger guys. I don't think he has too much value being a singles competitor anymore. I'd put him in the tag team division and see what you can.
Who's he tagging with? Who's his tag partner? Rhino?
Joey Ryan.
Yeah, you never know.
I mean, the asshole and the dick, my God, they could make beautiful babies together. Who the hell knows?
You just start. Yeah, there you go.
They could call each other DNA.
DNA.
That's absolute. You just gave Impact a creative idea.
A bit of the asshole.
I do what I can, I'm just gonna say this, man, about Anderson is, if he did lose his spot with NWA for Impact to work that TNA. So I do hope that they continue the guy's employment there and at least do something for him, because for him to, go work their show for a one-time thing, to lose his job, that's got to really suck. But I mean, he may have known the risks. And Billy said that the NWA is not going to be working with Impact. That doesn't mean that the two promotions are working together. It's a one-time wrestler that went there. So who knows? But I think if Billy did terminate him because of that, I think it's a pretty shitty, cowardly, childish move on Corgan's end. But we'll hope the best for Anderson. Maybe lay off the Milwaukee's best there. We know how those folks from Wisconsin are, right, Hurls?
I got a Milwaukee's best right now.
Yeah. But the thing to add to it that's ironic is Scott Steiner, who's with the NWA, who just worked the Hard Times pay-per-view, has also been announced for this TNA reunion show. And I'm not giving out spoilers or anything, and I don't know that I've seen him in full detail, but if I remember from what I saw, Scott Steiner did not work these past NWA tapings either. He's a part of Strictly Business. It wasn't mentioned at all other than, the Aaron Stevens recap on the show. Chef, we'll start with you. I mean, the Steiner thing here too. Anything you want to add in, or should we just kind of?
No, actually, to be honest with you, I don't even think that he was part of like the Strictly Business group. I think he was kind of like the hired muscle or whatever. Like, I don't think he was part of the main core, especially because if you listen, like Nick Aldis, I was going to call him Magnus. Nick Aldis, he doesn't really talk about him after that. Like he always keeps it Isaac, Graham, Thomas Latimer, and Camille, and that's it. You know what I mean? So, listen, like I said, they got to get younger and just let Steiner go. You know what I mean? I used to smoke trees and watch this guy when I was like 15, 16 years old, and I'm not promoting that, but I'm just saying if I watched him at 15, 16, and I got a 19-year-old son now, you know what I mean? Like, this guy's been on TV way too long.
Well, I just want to say I think that him coming into Impact, they've always used him in just spurts. For the TNA show, they're going to probably pair him up with Petey Williams and do the Big Papa Pump, Little Petey Pump. That's how I. God damn, I gotta pass here. AEW.
I think he was brought in for one set of tapings to have a match, get a pop, get over, and get out. I don't think it was anything more than that. And I think Impact's going to use him the same way. Big Papa Pump is pumping something like what you're seeing in some of these pictures in the chat, fellas. He's still a bit of a draw, but he's not a guy that you can count on, and they're not going to use him that way. So that's perfectly fine. As long as they don't involve frickin' little mama bitch ass Punk, whatever the hell her name is, in his match, everything will be good. Put him with Petey Williams, bring back Team Canada for that show, and I think you'll have something fun. They just need to let him cut another math promo. Like, seriously, just cut another math promo.
Yeah, I don't know what to say on this one. I mean, look, Scott Steiner is legitimately the loose cannon. He probably has his money. He can do whatever he wants. Steiner's a guy that doesn't give a fuck about really anything or what he says. He will do what he wants. My one thing with you guys saying he just brought in for the one set of tapings, well, okay, that's the case, but then why did he come in just to work one night for the pay-per-view and then just be done with NWA? So I do almost wonder if it was the same situation there with Anderson, and maybe there is kind of a bidding war going on with Impact and the NWA. Obviously, the blood isn't good between the two of them, but I guess we'll see, and we'll see what happens with the TNA one night only show in NWA from here on out. Hurls will go into some Impact news for us here. So Ace Austin, the X Division champion.
Wait! You forgot the Luke Harper guy.
Right?
Wait, what?
How can we not talk Dark Order?
Well, yeah, you got the Brody, whatever.
I was talking Impact news, not Impact results. We were still getting to that.
What?
Huh?
This is free agency.
Yeah, you were on all the free agents.
Brody somebody is his name.
Yeah, Luke Harper. Okay. Luke Harper dude.
All right, so yeah, Luke Harper. Earlier on in the week, there was something out that came out saying he was going to go to New Japan. That obviously has changed pace, and it's the report today was that he will be signing with AEW. Seems like he'll be debuting right around St. Patrick's Day. He is at least expected to be the leader of or a part of the Dark Order. We kind of talked about him quite a bit on last week's show. It's a name. It's a big thing that's coming in. I still hope Raven is behind this Dark Order as the Exalted One, and this is going to be his main guy. But, Steph, you're chiming in. Go ahead with your thoughts on this.
Well, actually, I was more curious if Dark Order Dude is going to be making an appearance soon, because word on the streets is he might be part of the Dark Order. I'm just saying. So, Luke Harper, cool, but just for 1 second before I get off here, Dark Order Dude, can you clarify this?
Hey, look, here's the thing. So I reached out to the Dark Order. I went to www.joindarkorder.com. I put in my application. They said they'd be in touch. That was last night. I haven't heard shit, Chef. In fact, during this exact broadcast, I went ahead and I tweeted them, and I said, what the hell is going on? You know, I said, Evil Uno. I said, Stu, AEW Wrestling. I'm still waiting for my instructions. Hashtag Dark Order. Put that shit out on freaking Twitter, and they said they haven't responded. So I'm ready to make my debut.
I hear you.
And I promise when I go to hit the motherfucker, I ain't going to miss. I ain't going to hit the canvas. I'm going to hit him, okay? Dark Order, that's for you. And Chef, did you join yet? Did you put in your application?
No, as soon as we get off of here, I'm going to darkorder.com or whatever it is.
Join darkorder.com.
Yeah, I'm going to try to join you, and let's see what we do together.
I think we should be a tag team for the Dark Order. We'd definitely be better than those two bozos they got out there anyway.
You are both in better shape than Evil Uno is.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, what I got to say about Luke Harper joining AEW is I predicted that was going to happen. I think he made the most sense to go to AEW. What I don't agree with is him being the leader of the organization. Like, he really never talked in WWE. I don't even know how good his mic skills are. The other fact is, I don't know if that's a smart move, putting him as the leader. I think he'd absolutely make a great guy to have in the stable. I just wouldn't put him as the leader. I think if you're going to do that, then maybe have Raven be the talker, the leader, and then have Luke Harper basically be the muscle.
I'm all for Raven Effect being part of the Dark Order. We'll let his ass sign up too. Let's do this thing.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I'll be seeing you guys there. But,
we're going to invade, there was a Sammy Guevara that was invading Royal Rumble. That's going to be us outside the next AEW Dynamite with a little frickin', Marco Stunt-sized tank and everything.
That was pure gold by Sammy Guevara to do. And I will say this, I believe today we just had the birth of, now for the 27th gimmick change, we now just have the Exalted Dude is on our show now as well.
Ooh, I like that. The Exalted Dude. Well, they have to accept my application first, right? I mean, those fuckers, they got people that can't even freaking hit somebody, and they haven't accepted me yet.
Well, rumor is Brandon Cutler is going to be part of this Dark Order, so if they'll accept him, I'm sure the Exalted Dude will be someone they'll be willing to admit into the show.
That's right. I'm changing my Twitter handle, damn it.
There's a shock.
Actually, I have to change the handle right now, but I will change my name.
So let's wrap up this free agency part. Like, I'm just going to say these. Killer Cross denied ever meeting with Triple H. I'm actually pretty sure I saw a picture of the two, but we'll put that on hold, even though we all know he's full of shit. And Brian Cage just came out and said that basically any offers he may have had have been pulled. He's got to have surgery. It seems like he's going to be out at least for 6 months. I hope that's not the case. I want to see Brian Cage back. I'm really rooting for this guy, especially for him to go to AEW. Anyone have anything you want to chime in and say on that stuff?
Nope.
I'm good.
All right. So now, as I was saying, Impact contract news. Ace Austin, their X Division champion, re-signed with the company for, was it 3 years, Hurls?
Yep.
So the dork who does magic tricks and claimed to bang everyone's wife or mother is going to be sticking around Impact. I'm just fucking glad I won't have to see that dork on my TV screen anymore. So I'm glad he's staying put there. We'll end it with Hurls on this topic, but Chef or AEW Exalted Dude, any thoughts on Ace Austin staying put with Impact?
I think it's probably a good spot for him. Don't you, Charles? Don't you, Chef?
No, I just know he's the guy with the purple or pink hair. I don't know nothing about him.
So, he does magic tricks. Hurls, your thoughts on this? Because I'm sure you're actually probably happy. He does magic tricks and claims to get pussy. I'm not buying it.
No, he does get pussy. I've seen his girlfriend on Twitter. She's pretty hot, actually. But
I thought she was a porn star.
Oh, she might be.
Yeah, everybody gets pussy from her, man. We all.
I thought she was a wrestler.
I think she's a wrestler, but I wouldn't be surprised if she did porn.
And he ain't getting pussy from a freaking porn star. He's doing something wrong. I thought he was dating a porn star.
Well, she took a photo just in her thong, so I mean, you were right to think. Yeah. No, I think they're definitely pushing him very hard. They've given him a lot of wins, and he's X Division champion, so they're obviously pretty high on him. I liked him ever since I saw when he came on the Twitch shows, before he was even part of the Impact roster. So I thought it was a good signing. He's developing a character, a gimmick, which is always good. He's been playing a pretty good heel, and he can go in the ring, and he's got a good look besides the purple hair. That's the thing I don't like about him. But other than that, he does some pretty cool stuff. I know AEW Dude, you hate when he brings out the laminated card and gives people paper cuts with the card, but you know, it's part of his shtick. But I think it's a good sign.
It should be it should go away permanently.
All right, and then to put all the Taya Valkyrie talk to rest, it actually came out that sometime, I think it was last year or something, she had signed an extension with Impact, so she's going to be there through 2021. So anyone expecting her contract to be up or to see her join John Morrison in WWE with his great Royal Rumble performance, that's squashed and put to bed. That's a big win for Impact. I'm not going to lie. In my opinion, that's hands down in every aspect the best female on that roster. Anyone have anything to chime in on Ty before we move on?
No, I definitely agree with you. I think she's the best female on that roster, and they got a really good one there. So kudos to them.
I mean, just out of curiosity, we just decided we're not calling Tessa Blanchard a female anymore, or we just moved on from that.
Well, I mean, she doesn't wrestle the females.
I'm just saying, like I'm not saying I disagree with either one of you guys. I'm just simply saying, does she just no longer count?
Well, I mean, Taya is in the women's division. Tessa's not. So, you can't really consider her a female because she's not in the female division. Yeah, she's obviously a female, but, she's wrestling the dudes, so she's no longer Tessa Blanchard. She's Tessa Manchard, you know?
I mean, I got you. I'm hearing you loud and clear. I'm just saying, when people stop considering Tessa one of the women, okay, are they considering her one of the guys? Because I don't consider her one of the guys either. To me, she's lost identity completely. She's just sitting out there.
She's gender neutral.
She's gender neutral. What's 2020? Somebody's got to be gender neutral.
That's true.
No, I think Tessa's a little bit of a better wrestler in ring than Taya, but I think character overall, your promos, your charisma, I think Taya is far better than Tessa. So if I have to say all around on that roster, I'll take Taya over Tessa any day.
Yeah, I'm taking her too, but I'm just saying.
I like Tessa or Taya. Everything that she's pretty much done in Impact. When she came in as a heel, she kind of did the European gimmick and then kind of went to more of the Latin gimmick. I think she's knocked it out of the park. Her stuff with Johnny Bravo has been great. It's a good re-signing. She's definitely one of the best women's wrestlers in the world, and I'm just wondering where they're going to go with her from here on out. But definitely good to keep her on the roster for sure.
All right, gentlemen, we're going to hop into NWA now. We ready?
Hell yeah.
All right. So Friday night we had NWA Hard Times pay-per-view. I didn't watch the show. From what I actually understand, I saw quite a few people saying it was a great show. Couldn't believe they only had to pay $20 to win this thing, or to watch that thing. So props to them for the recognition and good feedback they've been getting from what I've seen. It ended with Ricky Starks winning the television title in the tournament, as the AEW Dude and I predicted. I'm just going to say this. Imagine paying $20, even though it's only $20, imagine paying for a pay-per-view, and on this pay-per-view you have to watch Trevor Murdoch wrestle 3 times and also be in the main event of this show. My mind is just blown on this fucking Trevor Murdoch push and everything that he gets.
He's the only guy I know who's tough enough. And I'll stop right there before I lose my job on the Heelcast.
It's funny because you were saying how you kind of felt the NWA had went corny last week, but clearly they lost all their corniness with that one. But apparently with this TV title, if you have to defend it 7 times in a row and the 6-minute and 5-second draw or whatever counts as a win, but if you do it 7 times in a row, you get a title shot at the World Heavyweight Champion, which would be the National Treasure, Nick Aldis, at this point. Also on the show, we had Thunder Rosa defeating Allison Kay to become the new NWA Women's Champion. From what I was told, too, that was possibly match of the night. We had Eli Drake and James Storm winning the Tag Team Championship, thank God. Scott Steiner winning via DQ against Aaron Rex, so Aaron Stevens, who still retains the National Championship. It ended up being a world title match between Nick Aldis and Flip Gordon, where Aldis retains. Basically what it was is he gave him a title shot, but if Flip won, he was going to be the new champ, but if Aldis won, then all the business done between NWA and ROH was going to be on Aldis's terms. So Aldis retains the belt there. So we hop into NWA Power, which, ironically, this is they're pulling the Vince Russo stuff here, Hurls. There was only 2 wrestling matches on this entire hour broadcast. It starts off with the return of Sean motherfucking Mooney from us old school guys. Remember Sean Mooney from the WWF? He's returned to the NWA, which is cool. He interviews Nick Aldis to start the show. Aldis cuts a promo, talking about how everything is on his terms. He called Flip Gordon Flop Gordon. Told the fans to, in different words, I can't remember how he said it, but it was really well, basically. And then he told them, no, that means to sit down and shut up. Mooney talked about how he had Marty Scurll kicked out of the building, and it was the crowd was calling him a coward. It was a damn good promo to start off the show. We had Royce Isaacs defeating, was Andre Gunn or Goon or some shit like that. I don't even know. They showed a promo highlighting Kingston and Pope heading to a feud between those two. We had a interview with Thunder Rosa and Melina, with Melina starting to kind of turn heel, basically trying to take all the credit for Thunder Rosa becoming the women's champion. We had Zicky Dice come out and interrupt Ricky Starks, and then Ricky Starks retains against Zicky Dice. And I'm just going to say this real fast, is the AEW Dude who was down on Zicky Dice last week. Tell us in the chat that the guy's growing on him. I don't know how this guy can grow on you, but you hate on Sammy Guevara, who's just amazing and hilarious. And then we had the promo between Eli Drake and James Storm, which was interrupted by Aaron Stevens and the question mark. James Storm was having fun. It was a very entertaining bit. Trevor Murdoch comes out, and Trevor Murdoch, of course, is now apparently going to be feuding over the national title with Aaron Stevens, and ended with the question mark cheap shot and Trevor Murdoch. And then they closed the show with a Nick Aldis and Marty Scurll promo. Really, for as much as they hype up Marty Scurll to be something great, I mean, Nick Aldis literally just fucking killed it on this thing. He carried the entire thing, really made Scurll look down, and just the brilliance of Nick Aldis. And I know we've said about how much improved Aldis has been. This dude is just fantastic. And really, they did a great job with building tension and drama in the show to cap it off without any kind of action or violence. And I just want to give props to that. NWA, man, it's starting to really click for me. Hurls, I believe you said you didn't watch it, so I'm going to go to the AEW Dude, and then we'll let Chef cap off thoughts on Power and the pay-per-view.
I thought that Power was definitely an improvement over some of the corniness that we've seen. Zicky Dice is growing on me just because he is so old school and so over the top, and that's what he's supposed to be. And I think the character is growing on me. Versus Sammy Guevara, I just see him as just a generic lightweight guy. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't click except when he's standing outside with the tank. And honest to God, if they would have done that with Marco Stunt, it would have been the fucking most hysterical thing I've ever seen in my life. So I think the show was definitely improved this week. Royce Isaacs just needs to get the fuck off my TV screen. I mean, his finisher is like the lamest finisher that I think I've ever seen. It was fucking horrible. He's terrible. At least they're breaking him off from Bram, it looks like. So Bram can actually get some FaceTime with Adam. As far as, the main event and whatnot, I was surprised that Trevor Murdoch was in the main event, but it kind of makes sense. Those guys had to wrestle 3 times, and Trevor Murdoch wrestling 3 times on a pay-per-view says a lot about your roster and what you're doing with your roster, right? So there you have it. I'm not a big Ricky Starks guy at all. I do care for him a little bit more than Sammy Guevara, but I wouldn't say that it's a lot more. So all in all, I would say that NWA Power was an improved show this week. I'm very glad that that the tag titles moved on, right? Like the Rock and Roll Express are just maybe a little bit past their prime or whatnot. And I think anytime you can put a belt on James Storm, you've done pretty well.
All right, so I'm going to jump into this, but I did watch the pay-per-view and I thought it was pretty good. I'm going to leave it at that. Actually, I'm not even going to say pretty good. I'll say it was. The Trevor Murdoch shit kills me. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's so hard to overlook that it kind of fucks up the products. But straight to the NWA Power Show this week, I thought it was really cool to see how much love the crowd had for Thunder Rosa, who had an amazing match. But if you listen to that pop she got, there's a big difference from when Sienna came out with the belt than when Thunder Rosa came out with the belt. Like, they literally, they love that chick, and she's super talented. Nick Aldis, I don't know what else you could say about him because he definitely carried Marty Scurll on some next level shit. Like, one guy looks like a world champ, and the other guy kind of looks like, a good wrestler or a good guy to cut a promo. He couldn't hang on to him. You know what I mean? Like, so the only thing that I hate is there's no way that Nick Aldis is going to win that match because of the terms that he said. There's no way that the fans are going to get their money back. If they do, that'd be freaking crazy. But, obviously, the next champ is going to be Marty Scurll because I don't see them saying, hey, here's all the money back, guys, and we lose all the profit for a show.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I think Scurll is going to be the next champion. They're doing a good job of building up to the match, in my opinion. But I still feel like they're missing the ball because it should be Eli Drake in that spot instead of Marty Scurll. But we'll see how things progress. Anyone else with some chime-ins on NWA before we move forward? Or Chef, were you even done?
Oh, yeah, I'm done. There wasn't a lot of action. It was more talking. You know what I mean? So it's limited to what I really, really want to say. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you there. AEW Dude, anything?
No. I'm just trying to undo my little faux pas there on YouTube, where apparently I was streaming and sharing my screen.
Yeah,
I'm trying not to get us suspended on YouTube. Thank God. Yeah, apparently somehow I was recording and streaming, and then when I stopped the stream, it also stopped the recording. So my recording is missing a couple seconds here before I got it going again. So Hurls definitely gonna want your recording on this one, but yeah, all the stuff that you saw was being shared with our good friends that were watching live. So,
sorry, everyone. RVE had nothing to do with that.
Sometimes when you watch the Heelcast, you get a lot of additional bang for your buck. Sometimes when you watch the Heelcast, you get just a little bit more. And God, I hope we didn't get reported to YouTube, which is really cracked down on doing the types of things that I was accidentally doing. But I have deleted the video. I have got it turned off. I think we're in much better shape right now. But yeah, I only hit the start recording button. I never hit the start stream, but I have no idea the fuck that happened. So
how many viewers did we actually have at that point?
I mean, I don't know, but I had to delete everything as fast as I possibly could because they take that stuff seriously, and quite frankly, we should too. I did not realize that I was streaming live. It's kind of an accident.
Delete.
At least it didn't call Congo Kong this time, right?
Of all the embarrassing shit that's happened on this show, this actually somehow found a way to take the cake.
Oh.
All right. The one thing I will say about the NWA before I move on is I do think they're making one mistake, and that is that they're trying to turn the Pope heel. I do like the fact that they're pushing towards the man coming out of retirement or just the manager role and actually getting back into the ring. That said, Daddy Jack, Pope is a man of the people. The people love the Pope. He's not a man that you want to boo and make heel. TNA did that same mistake years and years ago with the man, and I'm just saying that the Pope's not someone that people are going to boo. So I don't know if any of y'all got anything to chime in there, but we're about to move on to AEW if not.
Yeah, no, I know Pope last month wrestled in a show out here like an independent, and he looked real good.
That's what's up. Man's amazing.
I think he can go either way. I think he can go heel or face. I think whatever he does it's very entertaining, and if NWA gets him back into the ring, I think that's a win for everybody.
Exactly. AEW Perv, anything to chime in?
Nah, not on this one.
Oh my god, you dainty motherfucker, you. All right. All right, Joe. So we're gonna hop into AEW. Now I would go over Power again, but I missed the show, and honestly, I haven't had time to even pick up the results. So we'll go straight to Dynamite. Although heading into Dynamite, now it was announced before the show that the main event for Revolution is going to be Jericho defending against Jon Moxley. The one thing I want to say that I forgot to bring up last week is that I think AEW is absolutely killing it with the build to feuds and building the big fight feel, because this feels like a big fight. And honestly, from a booking standpoint, I almost think like they may have put themselves into a corner because it's so hard to see who goes over. Because really, these are the only two people, in my opinion, that have been built good enough, other than maybe Cody, to actually be the AEW Heavyweight Championship. But if you think about it, this Moxley versus Jericho thing, if this were WWE, we'd have seen this match 3 or 4 times already by now, leading in just to the pay-per-view. And this is what I've been clamoring for with wrestling to do again, is to build to this big fight feel. And this is a big fucking match, and I'm excited for it. It has me really want to buy Revolution. And especially you look at the way they've done Cody versus MJF as well. That's what we get, and I'm happy with that. So anyone else want to chime in before I read the results with my thoughts on that?
No, that's a money match right there, and I think Moxley actually might take the championship away from Jericho, which obviously it's a smart move, but I definitely want to see Pac get in that world title discussion soon too.
Yeah, no doubt. Omega at some point too, but they got to build him better. But anyways, we're gonna hop into the Dynamite results. So the show opened with Jon Moxley coming out and cutting a promo. He was interrupted by the Inner Circle, and then Jericho. Correct me if I'm wrong on how I word this phrase, but Jericho had told Santana and Ortiz to get their reinforcements, and it seems like that they brought the Bariquas out. Am I right? I'm going to take that as I'm wrong. Can you also hear me?
Yes.
We're here.
Okay. All right, man. So I'm just going to move forward here. We had a little vignette there where MJF showed up in the, like a butcher shop or whatever, to give Butcher and the Blade some money with the envelope that said the Young Bucks. They come out and have the match. The Young Bucks defeating the Butcher and the Blade with MJF on commentary. And that was a pretty entertaining match. My wife and my stepson actually watched that with me, and my wife was very impressed with that match. We had the guys jump him afterwards, and then Omega and Hangman Page come out for the save. Hangman Page doing that cool thing where he's drinking his beer, hands it to Omega, flips over the rope, hits that clothesline, grabs his beer, finishes it, walks right back. That was pretty funny. We had the next match was Nyla Rose against Big Swole, which I honestly, for me, I didn't even watch that. That is basically that was my piss and smoke break. But after that, we go from one fat transvestite to the next as Arn Anderson comes out in Cody Rhodes' corner. And that untrustworthy son of a bitch, Arn, is in Cody's corner as the head coach. Almost gets him disqualified because you can't trust Arn at all. But in my opinion, the match of the night was Cody Rhodes taking on Kip Sabian. Now we have the little spot there with Joey Janela popping up and getting a kiss on the cheek from both Sabian and Penelope Ford there, which was funny. But, honestly, this is the part that I'm really got under me with this one was they saw Sabian come out and he shoves Arn Anderson, and that pasty old senile fuck Jim Ross is like, oh, Arn Anderson's innocent out there. No, JR, he's not. Sabian knows you can't trust Arn Anderson at all. So he going out there and did the right thing. And then on top of it, you have JR calling Penelope Ford a Jezebel. And no, JR, you're literally losing your mind. If anyone's a damn Jezebel out there, it's Arn, that fat, pasty son of a bitch has been ducking Daniel Tosh for all these years. So that's all I got to say about that. And then we saw Arn getting kicked out by the ref, thankfully, because he knows he can't trust him. But Cody finished it off with 3 crossroads to end up winning the match, which was pretty good. We saw a Britt Baker promo, and last week was pretty bad, but I know it's not saying much, but I thought the girl cut it the best promo of her career so far. She really tore into JR, talked about how he mispronounces everyone's name, diagnosed Tony Schiavone with gingivitis, and for the Cleveland crowd says they finally got a Baker to trust in. I thought she nailed it, to be honest with you. I thought she really did the best she's done. They teased the Hangman Page heel turn a little bit more in the back, and then we saw the return of Jack Evans and Angelico Hybrid 2 as they lost to SCU, doing the Kobe Bryant tribute, which I loved. We saw a little thing with they came out, the Dark Order interrupted at the end, saying the Exalted One is pissed off at Daniels and they're coming after his friends and family and all that. So I don't know what the AEW Dude has against Daniels, but apparently that's who you're coming after. And then the show ended with the Inner Circle defeating Darby Allin and Private Party. They jumped him after the match. I believe, in my opinion, what they're doing is building to Sammy Guevara against Darby Allin as a feud. John Moxley comes out to make this save to cap off Dynamite. Hurls, you fell asleep, but did you have any comments you want to put in on Dynamite?
Yeah, it is. I did not fall asleep because of Dynamite being boring or anything like that. I just was really tired last night. I wanted to watch AEW Dynamite, but no, I mean, I like where they're going with Moxley and Jericho. I think that's going to be a good feud. I do like Darby Allin. He's just super, super tiny. I absolutely can't stand Sammy Guevara. Some of the booking decisions in the tag team division have been kind of strange, but I kind of see where you're going with the Kenny Omega versus Adam Page feud. That's where I think they're kind of setting up for. So I think that could be good. I'm not an Adam Page fan, but I definitely do like Kenny Omega. I really hope they start, moving him a little higher up the card. Doesn't have to win the world title right now, but I do like where they're going. I still think their women's division needs a ton of work, but that's basically saying water's wet. I like some of the strides they've made, especially the report of the Nightmare Collective going away. So
I'm not sure how you can say that Britt Baker nailed it. The only thing she nailed is freaking Adam Cole. Honest to God, his contract must be coming up, dude. She was pathetic. She just wasn't as pathetic as she was the last time, but that was still bad. It did not belong on a major TV network in any way, shape, or form. And in fact, her delivery of the line, which is a great line, by the way, I'd like to know who wrote it for her, what about you finally have a Baker you can trust, was so poorly delivered that it actually took me and the audience a second to actually come to grips with the hell she was doing. So that's my take on it. As far as the World Championship is concerned, oh yeah, it's definitely getting past the Moxley. There's no doubt about it, and that's fine. You can't leave it on Jericho forever. He's had it long enough. Hurls is right. Kenny Omega needs to be moved up the card. There's no doubt at all about that. I don't see Pac or Pac as a world champion. Not right now. He's just not clicking at that level. I think he needs to do a little bit more first. I think he's a great wrestler, but he's not properly utilized, I don't feel, right now. So, we'll see how that goes over time. But he's not – I don't look at him and go, they need to put the belt on that guy. Versus Omega, I do, and obviously Moxley as well.
Chef, your thoughts on the show?
Chef,
are you still with us?
Jeffrey.
We have lost Jeffrey.
I think he left on that last picture that I posted, and who could blame him?
I think you. Yeah,
Hurls, and we're losing Hurls on this one too, man. He's like, whoa. Look at that
shit.
Was
absolutely disgraceful. Jordan, disgraceful. Goddamn, man, how much air did we just get sucked out of this show? I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm actually in agreement with the AEW dude. I don't think Pac is at that level. I know a lot of people are behind him, and he's not clicking for me, but a lot of people do really like the guy. I forgot to mention the little, vignette or promo that he had. I actually missed it, but I've heard rave reviews on it. So we'll see where it goes from there. The Nightmare Collective may have possibly been scrapped, thank God. Now, look, here's the thing, man. I'm not saying Britt Baker was fantastic or whatever. I did say it's not saying much, but it was the best promo she's cut. I don't think it was as bad as a lot of people are saying, but that's just my take on it. So.
Because she was so bad last week that anything looks great this week.
Well, sadly, last week I think was an improvement from the shit she did as a face. The women's division it's bad. We've already covered it.
We have fun with Tessa Blanchard and her promos, but let's face it, she's not Britt Baker bad.
No, you got a solid one there. Solid points. The Moxley Jericho thing. It's tough, man. I feel like this is a one that should be a multiple, at least 2 pay-per-views where this one needs to main event and headline, maybe not back-to-back, but have a rematch at some point. I just feel like those two are really the only two right now that are built good enough to be the champ other than Cody. Now, all the Kenny Omega talk, but he hasn't been built that well in AEW, and he's got to move up, and they've got to find a way to create other stars too. What do you guys feel about the Christopher Daniels being sold out thing? You think they're possibly getting back to the Dark Angel kind of a thing?
I just think he's somebody they're going to go after and feud with. That's what I think it does. I think this just leads to a feud with them at SCU. They got to have somebody to feud with.
I think SCU is whack.
There he is.
Jeffrey's back. How's the thunderstorm going, man?
Yeah. All I hear is doom, and it went out, and I was like, hello. And I'm like, oh, man, thunderstorm got me.
Seth, did you have any thoughts on AEW Dynamite you wanted to get out there before we kick the show to Hurls to close us out?
You know what? To be honest with you, you guys killed it. You guys covered all the points, did an amazing job, all 3 of you. So I just enjoyed listening to y'all.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys.
I should probably make sure I'm not streaming again. Okay, good. I'm not streaming again.
Good. That's the positive news of this disaster.
We're gonna lose YouTube. It's gonna be hysterical.
Oh goodness! All this work to build our audience back is completely gone. All right, guys. Look, we're gonna let Hurls. Of course, we started as an Impact show, and the Heelcast is always gonna have Impact Wrestling as a part of it. Even though some of us no longer watch it, Hurls is still an Impact guy till the day he dies. We're going to let Hurls break down Impact and do the Hurls cast thing on his own here. Unfortunately, it's not that I know you guys got to get to bed. Is that correct? Chef and AEW Dude?
Early morning.
So, and unfortunately, and it's not that I don't want to stand by Hurls and listen to him do his thing. Unfortunately, I've got way too much. I almost had to back out of this show. I actually have to get going too before my wife kills me. So, look, we're going to let Hurls close us out with the Impact review. Hurls, do your thing. I am sincerely apologizing, buddy, but no one does this better than you, my friend. So this is the RVE on behalf of the infamous Chef and the AEW Dude signing off for the night. Hurls, go kick some ass, buddy. We love you.
Love you, Hurls. Tear it up, bud.
Yep. All right, so Impact started off with a match between Josh Alexander and Vikingo. Vikingo is a new luchador that signed with AAA. Josh Alexander and Vikingo absolutely had the match of the night. I actually enjoyed this match even more than the main event. The winner of the match was Vikingo, which was kind of surprising, but this guy is really talented. If you haven't got to see Vikingo, definitely check him out. He's kind of got some strange attire going on, but what can you expect? It's Mexico. A lot of the luchadors have some interesting attire, but these two had a really good match, and definitely check it out. But Vikingo gets the win. Then we saw a really interesting thing where Josh Matthews and Don Callis were just talking like in front of the crowd, and then all of a sudden for like a split second you could see some type of graphic come on the stream, and it was, a lot of people think it's Sami Callihan's new persona that he's going to be displaying. And it says, basically, it's got like a picture of a smiley face, almost looking like a Pac-Man type thing, but it's a square. It says ICU. So it looks like Sami Callihan is going back to his NXT gimmick, which was like a hacker. I did not see Sami Callihan's gimmick in NXT, so I can't really comment on how it was done, but we've seen guys in Impact before that have taken some of their WWE gimmicks that were either canned or never used and brought it to Impact. So I'm really intrigued if this is Sami Callihan's new persona, but we've seen it the last 2 weeks. So then we had our second match of the night. We had the Rascals versus Pagano and Murder Clown. I'm not a huge fan of Murder Clown or Pagano. They don't really do much for me. But the good thing is the Rascals did get the win. So I thought that was well, and they needed a decent tag team win, so they got it. So it was good to see that. Third match we had Moose versus Taurus. Taurus won that triple threat last week, so Moose kind of wanted to call out Taurus for that. Moose ends up getting the win. It was a okay match. We had a backstage promo on Michael Elgin, basically challenging Eddie Edwards to a best of 5. And then Eddie responded with a promo saying, best of 5, best of 100, doesn't matter. He's going to do it. So those two are going to be having a best of 5. I think it could be really good. They usually have pretty good matches. We had a Valkyrie, Johnny Bravo, come to the announce table for the Knockouts match. It was the number 1 contenders for the Knockouts title. It was Madison Rayne versus Kira Hogan versus Jordynne Grace. I said what I said last week about this. I did not like the fact that Jordynne Grace comes out there and just puts herself in the match. I thought it was really stupid. I also said it was stupid that Taya Valkyrie, the last 2 times after a big pay-per-view, she's made a deal with a certain wrestler, and basically the deal was if they help her out, then they can have a title match. So I thought that was kind of lazy booking to just have that 2 times in a row. But it was pretty predictable that Jordynne Grace was going to win. I'm not going to lie. This match just didn't really do much for me. I am not a Jordynne Grace hater as far as her in-ring work. Don't really care for her on social media. But nonetheless, Jordynne Grace got the win there. We also had Ace Austin kind of give a backstage promo just about how he was standing over Tessa Blanchard at Bound for Glory, and then he talks about their tag team match last week. We had another backstage interaction with Johnny Swinger and Willie Mack. Basically, Johnny Swinger is just trying to be Willie Mack's partner since Rich Swann is going to be out of action for a while. But basically, Willie Mack said, yeah, you were cool in ECW, but I'm going to have to pass. So it was funny that Johnny Swinger goes, yeah, I was pretty cool in ECW. So thought that was pretty funny. Then we had a strange interaction with Fallah Bahh and TJP. I know they kind of got that Filipino tag team kind of going on, but so I would imagine they're going to get into the tag team division pretty soon. Then we had Daga and Dr. Wagner Jr. versus Reno Scum. Huge fan of 3 out of 4 guys. I know Dr. Wagner Jr. is a legend in Mexico. But I don't know. He just doesn't really do much for me. But Daga is super talented. And Reno Scum, I think, is underutilized right now. I don't like how they're just kind of an afterthought. But Daga and Dr. Wagner Jr. get the win. Daga looks absolutely on fire. in that match. But I'm hoping they do something with Reno Scum, because they're just kind of sitting there and they're losing a lot of matches. No real storyline, just kind of being Ace Austin's lackeys for the most part. Then we get the Susie backstage promo where she's walking around the boiler room, and then Rosemary comes out and basically says she's trying to recruit her, and she's kind of trying to get her back to going to Su Yung. I think they're going to kind of do a tag team of the sorts. They're going to team up. So Rosemary's kind of trying to bring Susie out of the, trying to snap her out of it and get her back to Su Yung. So they're going to have a match next week. So I think that's eventually where that's going to go. And then the main event was Michael Elgin versus Eddie Edwards to start off the best of 5. Michael Elgin gets the victory. That was a really good match. So Michael Elgin leads the series 1-0, obviously, and that was the main event for Impact. Overall, I thought Impact was better this week than last week. There probably was too many just back-to-back wrestling matches. I thought the show just was kind of like, could have used some more talking, could have used some more backstage segments for the most part, but it was better than last week. I thought it was better matches, and it had a better feel to it overall. But still, there's not a lot of feuds developing going into some of their bigger events. Really, the only big new feuds that we really have are RVD and Joey Ryan. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with the best of 5 series with Eddie Edwards and Michael Elgin. I can't really tell who's going to win it. I think Eddie would win it, but you never know. Vikingo and Josh Alexander, though, definitely the match of the night. I'd give Impact about a 7 out of 10. But so I don't know if Chef's still on. I don't think he is. But Chef, you still there by any chance? Okay, Chef's not with us anymore. So with that, hope you guys enjoyed this crazy, wacky, zany Heelcast that may get us booted off of YouTube. So who knows what's going to happen with that. But let's hope it doesn't happen. Hopefully we didn't get reported. But anyways, this is Hurls. This is the Heelcast. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And we will see you next week with all the wrestling shenanigans.